Chapter 4: The Truth Revealed. As Koji, Yumi, and Akira fought off the demons, Koji couldn't help but feel uneasy. Something wasn't right. Why had Akira disappeared when they were attacked? And why was she suddenly so much more powerful? As the last demon fell, Koji turned to Akira. "What's going on?" he asked. Akira hesitated for a moment before finally speaking. I have a confession to make," she said. "I wasn't sent by the Council of Elders. I was sent by the Shadow King himself." Koji and Yumi exchanged a look of shock. "What?" Yumi exclaimed. Akira hung her head in shame. "I was once a loyal member of the Shadow King's army," she said. "But when I saw the horrors he was committing, I knew I had to do something. So I infiltrated the Council of Elders and convinced them to send me on this mission." Koji and Yumi were stunned. They had put their trust in Akira, only to have it betrayed. "But why did you help us defeat the Shadow King?" Koji asked. Akira looked up, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. "Because I knew that you were the only ones who could truly defeat him," she said. "I couldn't do it alone. And I wanted to redeem myself. To make up for all the terrible things I've done in the name of the Shadow King." Koji and Yumi exchanged a look. They didn't know if they could trust Akira again, but they knew that they needed all the help they could get if they were going to defeat the Shadow King's army once and for all. "All right," Koji said. "We'll let you help us. But you have to prove yourself. We need to know that you're truly on our side." Akira nodded, a look of determination in her eyes. "I understand," she said. And so, the three of them continued on their journey, with Akira leading the way. They encountered more demons along the way, but with Akira's help, they were able to defeat them all. As they traveled, Koji couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. He still didn't fully trust Akira, and he knew that they were taking a huge risk by letting her help them. But as they continued on, Koji began to see a different side of Akira. She was no longer the cold, calculating infiltrator. Instead, she was passionate and determined, fighting alongside Koji and Yumi with a fierce loyalty that couldn't be faked. As they neared the end of their journey, Koji began to see that maybe, just maybe, Akira was truly on their side. Finally, they arrived at the entrance to the Shadow King's stronghold. The entrance was heavily guarded, with demons patrolling the area at all times. "We'll have to be careful," Akira said. "The Shadow King's army is heavily fortified here." Koji nodded. "We'll need to come up with a plan," he said. And so, they spent the next few hours strategizing, going over every possible scenario and every possible outcome. Finally, they came up with a plan that they all agreed on. They would split up and attack the army from different angles, taking out as many demons as possible before regrouping at the main entrance to the stronghold. From there, they would charge in and face the Shadow King himself. It was a risky plan, but Koji and Yumi knew that it was their best shot at defeating the Shadow King's army. And so, with Akira leading the charge, they split up and attacked the army from different angles. Koji and Yumi fought alongside Akira, taking down demon after demon as they made their way towards the main entrance. As they regrouped at the entrance, they could hear the sounds of battle raging inside the stronghold. They knew that they were getting closer to their goal. Finally, they charged inside, ready to face the Shadow King himself. As they made their way through the stronghold, they encountered wave after wave of demons. But they were determined to get to the Shadow King, no matter what. Finally, they burst into the room, where the Shadow King sat on his throne, surrounded by his most powerful demons. "You fools," he sneered. "Did you really think you could defeat me?" Koji stepped forward, his sword at the ready. "We've come too far to be stopped now," he said. And with that, the battle began. The three of them fought with all their might, their powers and skills complementing each other perfectly as they took down the Shadow King's army. Finally, they stood face to face with the Shadow King himself. "You cannot defeat me," he said, his voice echoing through the throne room. Koji, Yumi, and Akira looked at each other, determination in their eyes. Together, they charged at the Shadow King, their weapons glowing with power. In a burst of energy, the Shadow King was defeated. His army was destroyed, and peace was restored to the land. As they looked around the throne room, Koji, Yumi, and Akira couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. They had done what they had set out to do, and they had done it together. But as they made their way back home, Koji couldn't help but think about Akira's past. He knew that she had betrayed them in the beginning, but he couldn't deny the fact that she had been an invaluable asset in their battle against the Shadow King. Maybe, just maybe, there was a chance for her redemption. Only time would tell. When they returned to their village, they were greeted as heroes. The villagers praised them for their bravery and thanked them for saving their land. Koji, Yumi, and Akira were invited to a celebration in their honor, and they enjoyed the festivities, happy to see the smiles on the faces of the people they had helped. As the night went on, Koji noticed Akira sitting alone by the river. He walked over to her, taking a seat next to her. "Are you all right?" he asked. Akira looked up at him, her expression softening. "I'm fine," she said. "I just can't help but feel guilty for what I did." Koji shook his head. "Don't be," he said. "We all have our pasts. What matters is what we do now." Akira looked at him, surprised by his words. "Thank you," she said. Koji smiled at her. "You're a part of our team now," he said. "And we're all in this together." Akira smiled back at him, feeling grateful for his words. As they sat there by the river, Koji couldn't help but feel a sense of contentment. He had found his purpose, and he had found a group of people that he could call family, and he knew that, no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together.